August 26, 2021. Good day all. This is a message from Sierra Victor. We continue with message number 8 of counter-guerrilla operations with FM 90-8/MCRP 333A as reference and discuss guerrilla tactics, terrorism and harassment. When guerrilla forces first become operational, they usually engage in limited or small-scale activities and operations. If they reach more sophisticated levels of organization, equipment, and training, then larger operations utilizing more conventional tactics may be expected. Guerrilla tactics are characterized by elusiveness, surprise, and brief, violent action. These tactics in the early phases can be divided into terrorism and harassment. Terrorism. The guerrilla may use terrorism if it fits a given situation and accomplishes his goals. Terrorist techniques include bombings, assassinations, kidnappings, threats, mutilation, murder, torture, and blackmail. It must be recognized that all guerrillas do not use terrorism as a tool. If terrorism is utilized, it is usually for coercion, provocation, or intimidation. Coercion. This is used to persuade individuals to act favorably in given situations toward the guerrilla or the insurgent movement. As an example, terrorism might be used to persuade a local mayor to revise policy concerning the guerrilla. Provocation. This is used to provoke an overreaction on the part of government forces so that the population will be alienated by government forces' actions. Targets are usually government soldiers, leaders, or policemen. Intimidation. This is used to modify behavior. Usually, threats or fear of harm, either to the individual or his family and friends, are used. Intimidation can be used to induce the populace to silence or non-cooperation with government forces. It is used to discourage competent citizens from accepting critical low-level governmental positions. Harassment. Most guerrilla operations are offensive, not defensive. There is seldom an attempt to seize and defend objectives for any length of time. The guerrilla uses dispersion during his movements, but near the target area, small guerrilla elements mass and then conduct operations. While the guerrilla is outnumbered by government forces, he seeks to attain local numerical superiority. In this way he can attain victory over small elements of the government forces. These tactics, if successful, compel government forces to commit larger elements to defensive tasks. Once government forces move to the defensive, they lose the initiative and become reactive. This allows the guerrilla time and space to develop to a point where he has the capability to engage larger government forces with more conventional tactics. The most common techniques employed by the guerrilla are the ambush, raid, and small-scale attacks. These techniques are usually targeted against security posts, small forces, facilities, and lines of communication. Harassing tactics are utilized to keep government forces on the defensive. If successful, they make government forces react to guerrilla operations, taking away the government's ability to conduct offensive operations that would prevent successful guerrilla operations. Harassing tactics are also effective in weakening the government's resources and disrupting lines of communication. One advantage of harassment is the perceived image it gives of the guerrilla being able to strike anywhere at will. It also makes the government appear ineffective and incompetent by continuously losing small battles. Mao's principles. The principles of guerrilla tactics have been stated by China's Mao Zedong. Enemy advances, we retreat. Enemy halts, we harass. Enemy tires, we attack. Enemy retreats, we pursue. With this we finish Chapter 2 and will continue in our next message with Chapter 3 named Counterinsurgency Operations. Please visit our Dropbox account for all our previous material. Links can be obtained from any admin on the Sierra Victor groups. Thank you for listening or reading this message. Please feel free to use and distribute as needed. Our messages are not by any means enticing you to a revolution of sorts, but rather to equip you with the necessary theoretical background in order to assist local armed forces or police in stabilizing a SHTF situation. We wish you well. Sierra Victor.